Dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy.
So, credit where credit's due. I want to thank, and I need to look at my piece of paper, Bill Anderson, Big Blerk, Ravi Sharma, and the Forefront Media Project. These guys, well, Bill Anderson, Big Blerk, and Ravi Sharma sent me some links, and that's what I've used to put this video together. And the Forefront Media, I was sent a link to their channel. They are a social project, I believe, in the London area. And as it says here on the description of their channel, the official media arm of the Forefront Project, sharing authentic urban and young voices in our own words, putting young people at the forefront. Seems like a really, really good project. I did ask for permission to share this video. I've not had a reply yet. I am still adding it to this video, but I'm hoping that they will understand that I'm doing this to try and spread the word, and also I want to help them. So please, 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 everybody, if you can, I'm going to put a link to this channel in the description below. They've only got 329 subscribers at the moment. Let's see if we can ramp that up a little bit, because I think it's a great project for them to be doing. And it's something that I will be watching closely as well, because London seems to be, well, is one of the worst areas for young people being a victim of the police farce. So please, if you can, go and hit that subscribe button on their page on the link in the description below. So thank you, everybody. Forefront Media, I apologise if you have a problem with me doing this. Please contact me first, and we can, we can come to an arrangement, or I will take this down if you would prefer. Okay, so moving on. Yesterday I put out a video about PC Savage. Now today I've had some additional information which I wasn't aware of before, and as always, if I'm wrong or if there's something to add, I'll come back and I'll add it, or I'll rectify and tell people that I've been wrong. So this is literally a video with a little bit more information on PC Savage. I was unaware that PC Savage was a repeat offender, meaning that he didn't only do that one incident where he smashed a guy's window and pulled out a bladed article and tried to, multi-tool and tried to cut through the windscreen with a knife. That's not his only crime. He has actually abused other people in his position as a police officer. So I wanted to show you that, and close to the end of this video as well, I'm going to show you some leaked footage of PC Savage's disciplinary hearing. So keep watching and stay tuned for that. First of all, this first video is a news report about PC Savage and the incident that I showed yesterday.
PC Joshua Savage denies several charges, saying his actions in Camden in September 2016 were justified.
Get out of the car! You're not allowed to drive it! Get out of the car!
London Live's Alex Isat is following the case for us. Alex, just remind us then what happened.
PC Joshua Savage approached a Ford Fiesta that he thought was being driven by notorious drug dealer TJ Dixon. He went towards the car and allegedly hit it with a baton, asking that the person inside got out.
Just trying to view it from an objective point of view here, guys. Remember that there is no actual evidence that PC Savage approached the car and his first action was to hit it with a baton. Although that doesn't excuse anything else that happened from here on in, there is no evidence of that occurring.
Leon Fontana turned out to be the person inside the vehicle, not TJ Dixon, and he started to film the act as PC Savage got out a knife to try and get in through the windscreen. PC Savage said that what he did was justified because he was worried for his own safety. He said that the car had tinted windows and that he couldn't see anything, and that Mr. Fontana wouldn't comply. He said today at Southwark Crown Court, "It was a situation where I was trying to gain Mr. Fontana's compliance, trying to speak to him. Absolutely, the situation didn't unfold the way I would have liked."
And Alex, the man in the car, Leo Fontana, he was also giving evidence today. What did we hear from him?
That's right. Now, Mr. Fontana was the one that filmed the video that went on Twitter, caused a public outcry then, and was repeated again yesterday before the hearing today at Southern Crown Court. Mr. Fontana denied that he was being unhelpful on the day. The video hears him say that he is not TJ Dixon, even though PC Savage asks him repeatedly to get out of the car.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. You're not allowed to drive it. Get out of the car!
Mr. Fontana then repeated that he was scared for his life and that he wasn't going to get out of a car when a police officer was holding a knife and a kosh. PC Savage has been charged with common assault and possessing a blade.
Please remember that being charged and being convicted are two different things. At the time of this report, those were the charges against PC Savage. Nothing to do with the outcome.
And his duties with the Metropolitan Police have been restricted. The trial continues.
And as we all know, restrictive duties simply means is living it up in an office, out of the rain, out of the cold, off of his feet, doing a bit of paperwork and still getting paid. Now we're going to meet Kyle Adair White, who is unfortunately another of PC Savage's victims. This is an interview that was done by the Forefront Project. Again, please hit the link in the description. Go and check out the channel. I've only got 300 and odd subscribers. I would really like it if we can help them out and bring that up a little bit more as well. So this is Kyle and his story.
My name is Kyle Adair White. I'm 24 years old. I'm currently self-employed as a courier. I'm also studying a level 3 diploma. Yeah, I was stopped on the 4th of September around lunchtime. Bike won't start, being stopped by police again. A policeman stopped me and accused me of being involved in moped-enabled snatches. I was in my dress shoes and I was just going to my friend's house and he just thought he had the right to assault me and then accuse me of being a thief, which I just thought was like, well, you've gathered all that like suspicion from just seeing a damaged bike, which is just, I think, so unfair, you know. Yes?
What's your surname, mate?
Why?
I'm going to check that the bike is insured in your name.
Why don't you just pull up my insurance company?
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it all run through the box, do the relevant checks, and then if it's all paid,
why are you suspicious? Why are you suspicious? I haven't done anything, by the way. I haven't done anything. Yeah, just pushing my bike because it won't start, and apparently I'm suspicious. I came to light recently that he's attacked a man in his car in the local area, so I thought it might be worth sharing my video, my little story with everyone else to make sure it doesn't happen again. He doesn't get, back on the street. His name is PC Savage.
Get out of the car!
He grabbed my wrist straight away, told me to stop. I didn't actually hear him straight away. He told me to stop, then he proceeded to try and take the keys out of my bike without saying that, I'm taking the keys from your bike. He had them in his hand, I took them back off him and said, why are you trying to take my keys? And he just said, stop there, and he just grabbed me and he held on to me, and then I stopped. I was, simply saying to him, this is my bike, how could it not be my bike if I had the keys? I've given him the registration number, I've told him my first name. Yeah, he proceeded to handcuff me and detain me, call back up and humiliate me, embarrass me on the road. And I hadn't actually done anything wrong, I hadn't done anything suspicious. All I was doing was pushing my bike because it didn't start.
Yeah, get a unit running. I think it's been involved in a motor crash. At this moment in time, you're detained for the purpose of the search, okay? You said you might have been involved in moped-enabled scratches. You're on. Give me your arm. Yeah, I've got the bike. You haven't got the bike. I've got the bike.
I would say I was there for, say, about 25 minutes to half an hour. I was handcuffed for about 20 minutes. Even the way the backup came, it was like 4 of them in a big truck, and they're all standing around me. You know, the first thing the female officer said was, "Oh, that looks like a nice, legitimate, roadworthy bike," and I'm like, "What?" Like, all you're doing is being provoking, making me feel threatened, because I'm just one guy on a moped. So why do you need backup? You're the police officer with the cosh and the taser and the handcuffs and the bits and the bobs and the sirens and the whistles and why do you need backup? He was reluctant to give it to me. I mean, after the search, once they knew everything, I didn't say anything. I just held out my hand because, you know, that's their protocol. They're supposed to always make sure that they give you a slip to prove that whatever you've done, whatever they did, there's a record of it. No, it's not the first time I've been stopped. I've been stopped loads of times in Islington, and the same thing happens all the time. I mean, I'll always record because that's what I feel like I'm entitled to do for my safety, for everyone's safety. When I saw the video on Facebook of PC Savage attacking this guy in his car, it just confirmed my suspicions of what I was saying to him. I was saying to him, you know, you actually haven't got any grounds to search me. You haven't got any evidence to prove that I'm a criminal or anything. It's just your ego. You've seen a black guy in a jacket pushing a bike that's slightly broken, and you just immediately assume he's a criminal.
Does he look suspicious? With his bike running?
Because you're walking along the road, right, with a moped that's all smashed up.
It's not all smashed up.
It is.
The front bit's smashed.
Certainly not roadworthy.
So what happens? How could you deem it not roadworthy? I wasn't even driving. The engine wasn't on, so it doesn't matter if it was roadworthy. I'm still pushing the bike. I don't understand. You just stopped me through discrimination.
No.
So what? You stopped me because you've seen a damaged bike.
I stopped you because I've seen you pushing a moped along the road, and I wanted to make sure you hadn't just picked it up from somewhere.
Well, how would I have just picked it up from someone who had the keys?
I'm not going to argue, but having stopped you, I've become more suspicious because I've seen the state of the moped, and I suspect it might be involved in moped-enabled snatches. Okay?
What does that even mean?
So at the moment, you're staying here whilst I confirm or allay my suspicions.
Your suspicion should have melted away when I gave you my registration number without hesitation. Your suspicion should have gone away when you saw it's my key.
My insurance details are Lexington Insurance.
If you wasn't in your police uniform, you wouldn't come up to young guys and just grab them and tell them to stop and say, allay my suspicions. That's crazy. You think because you got a uniform, you have your little costume on, you can come and stop people and harass them. And embarrassed him on the high rope. He said to me, he's not racist, he hasn't got an ego, he's not got any prejudices. And I said to him, well, you didn't learn anything in the academy because everyone's got some form of natural prejudice because of how they grow up and the experience they have. And he just refused to even accept that. He was like, no, racism ended ages ago. And I'm thinking, when they search you and they embarrass you and they humiliate you, I just get ill. It just stresses me out. I can't think straight, I lose all appetite and stuff, so I think he should be suspended, like immediately suspended, because he needs training. He needs to he needs to learn how to interact with the public. Right now, he's not qualified. He's just not ready. Whoever passed him in the academy, they need to get reassessed as well, because he just doesn't have the communication skills. He doesn't have the leadership skills. He hasn't used any of his protocols, making me aware of my rights or whatever. He hasn't said to me whether he's stopping a search, stopping an account, nothing. He just said, allay my suspicions and you're some sort of moped thief. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to prove that I'm not? If I saw PC Savage again and he was being sensible and not, aggressive, I would say to him, remember, you swore an oath as a constable to uphold the law, not to just go around accusing people of being criminals and harassing people and assaulting people, because that's criminal in itself. You didn't tell me, under what law you're stopping searching me. You didn't tell me anything. All you did was embarrass me on the side of the road. Think twice, because you never know what kind of effects your actions you're gonna have on people, in the community as well.
Constant barrage. You don't understand, what they're doing is detrimental to the whole society, really.
But you feel you have the right to, stop people, assault people, try and confiscate their property.
My property.
Smash their property and brutalise them. You're police officers, that's supposed to mean something in this country. Like the whole law and order thing in this country is supposed to mean something. You're supposed to set a benchmark, you're supposed to set a standard. And it's just failing. It's just failing left, right and centre. And this is a perfect example of how it's failing. Yeah, it makes me feel really bad about myself, you know, because I am trying and I'm working and I'm doing progressive things. I'm helping young people, I'm helping myself, I'm helping other people. And then to have to stand on the side of the road while like 5 officers like take the piss out of me. This makes me think, well, what's the point? Because like, I'm always going to get pulled over and embarrassed on the side of the road anytime they hear my name.
So there we have 2 prime examples of police abusing powers. Now, Joshua Savage, the ex-PC, was filmed in both occasions, and I think it's quite clear that his actions were way beyond actions that were proportionate and necessary for the situations. Now, this is an article in the Ilford Recorder dated the 15th of June 2019. Gross misconduct ruling for ex-police officer filmed smashing car windscreen. I mean, the way he's smiling there, this is as he walked out of magistrate's court during the criminal case. And as I said in my last video, there was some comments that were saying about the jury and, you know, there should have been a jury should have seen that this was bang out of order. And I said at that point, without knowing for sure, that it was likely to have been a magistrate's court where obviously there is no jury, which seems to be the case in a lot of these police incidents. I think that all police incidents such as this should be put to a jury case rather than a magistrate's court. Magistrate's court has a bench of, say, 3 magistrates who then decide. They are quite clearly biased, and a lot of police officers get away with the actions, the improper actions, whilst abusing their professional powers and their public office position. So all cases that are involving police officers, in my personal opinion, should be put to a jury regardless of how big or how small the incident may have been. A police officer who smashed the window of a suspect during an arrest in 2016 in a case of mistaken identity has been found guilty of gross misconduct by the Independent Office for Police Complaints. It should really say the UIOPC because it is completely unindependent and again is as biased as magistrates' courts. So on September the 16th, 2016, the then PC Joshua Savage, who lives in Wanstead, stopped a car driven by Leon Fontana in Weddington Road, Kentish Town, before smashing his car window with a police baton and using an unauthorised multi-tool to saw through the glass. Footage of the incident, which saw a shard of glass catch in Mr. Fontana's eye, went viral, and it later emerged that this had been a case of mistaken identity. Mr. Savage told a criminal court that he had thought the driver was a known violent drug dealer. Something I want to point out here is that, number one, I didn't actually see or hear anything about, a piece of glass going into Mr. Fontana's eye. Now, I'm not suggesting that he's lying. He said that he had to get a doctor to remove the piece of glass, which is obviously there's going to be a record of. But just watching the video, and again, I'm trying to be on the level with everybody. And this isn't just about me beating down police officers. All I'm saying is that during the video and the video alone, there is no evidence that I could see or hear that would suggest that a bit of glass went in his eye. However, it is likely considering the aggression that was being used on the window. Mr. Savage told a criminal trial that he had thought the driver was a well-known violent drug dealer. Well, if that's the case, then Mr. Savage, he should have called for those units while he was doing his checks. While he's following the vehicle, he would have got on his radio. There was 2 of them in the police car by the looks of it, himself and his donut munching friend. They would have, in normal cases, as we see on the TV cop shows, which I know are a load of rubbish, but still, some of the actions they do in the police car are the right, are real actions. For example, they will follow a vehicle, they will do a vehicle check, they will get the information back. If they thought at that time that he was a violent known drug dealer, then he should have called for additional units at that point and said, I want to put a stop in, can I have some extra units here? And they would have boxed him in, or whatever it is, tactical manoeuvre to stop him from moving. But he didn't. So clearly he didn't think that he was in that much danger, nor did his colleague who continued to sit on his fat ass in the police vehicle. Allegations that his use of force by smashing a windscreen without warning was improper were also upheld, as was a charge that carrying the tool was a breach of orders. Mr. Savage resigned from the Met in advance of the hearing. This seems to be a pattern that police officers do. If they leave, it seems that it doesn't necessarily go on to their work record because they're not found guilty whilst they are a police officer. And it seems that, you know, I don't know if this is the case. If anybody out there can tell me, if there's any police officers watching that want to enlighten me, I would be happy to hear that. But it seems, from my point of view, that leaving the police force before a hearing will enable them to go on to do other jobs, like maybe security or something similar, where they should not be getting employed. The IOP's London director, Sal Nassim, said the police misconduct panel has ruled that PC Savage's actions amounted to gross misconduct. From the evidence available, including footage taken by the driver, we were of the opinion that the actions of PC Savage should be tested at disciplinary hearing, and it is disappointing that we had to use our powers to direct the Metropolitan Police to hold this hearing. So I'm glad the IOPC is stating here that they had to ultimately force the Met Police in order to hold a hearing. It seems that maybe the Met Police were just going to sweep it under the carpet, as they do with many other crimes committed by police officers. Public confidence in policing requires transparency and accountability. A bit of a laughable statement coming from the IOPC, but I'm glad they said what they just said with regards to forcing the Met Police to hold the disciplinary. Mr. Nassim added that the IOPC was concerned by a suggestion made by Mr. Savage that Met officers were routinely carrying these types of multi-tools against regulation, which he said was a matter for public concern if true. Of course it's a matter of public concern. I think that many police officers are a public concern anyway, carrying any of the weapons that they carry, especially if they are so easy to flip their shit as quickly as PC Savage did. He added that Scotland Yard had yet to assure the regulator that it had taken action to make sure this was not the case. So in other words, at the time of this argument, which was June 15th, 2019, Scotland Yard had failed to inform the IOPC if they had taken any action to ensure that police officers aren't carrying multi-tools or any other unauthorised weapon. I think this goes to show how easy it is for police officers to commit an offence and go on to commit another offence. Now, I understand fully that police are constantly and consistently whining about lack of officers, and so when it comes to certain incidents, they probably don't want to let people go. I mean, let's face it, if they let go everybody who committed an offence, if the police force actually dismissed everybody who committed an offence that works for them, they actually would be short-staffed ultimately. But rather than letting these people continue to do what they're doing, I think maybe when somebody, in for example this case with Savage and the car, I think the guy should be taken off of the duty roster for at least a week and have to go and speak to a shrink and find out why he has this anger issue, whether or not it can be fixed. And if it can't, based on an independent psychiatry report, then they should be removed from the police force to make it safer for the public and for other police officers. As I said at the beginning of this video, we've got some leaked footage of the actual disciplinary of PC Savage, which is coming up right now. You won't see me again until my next video, so thank you very much for watching. Again, I appreciate every single one of you. Please leave your comments in the description below. I love to interact with you. Please hit that like button, because most of my videos are not monetized, and by hitting the like button, YouTube algorithms will pick that up along with your comments, and it will say to itself, well, this is a popular video, let's push it out to a few more people, and that can help me massively with this channel. So please, everybody who's watching this, hit that like button. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again in my next video.
You want to see me, sir?
Ah, Constable Savage. Come in, shut the door.
Yes, sir.
Now then, Savage. I want to talk to you about some charges that you've been bringing lately. I think that perhaps you're being a little overzealous.
Which charges did you mean, then, sir?
Well, for instance, this one. Loitering with intent to use a pedestrian crossing. Savage, maybe you're not aware of this, but it is not illegal to use a pedestrian crossing. Neither is smelling of foreign food an offence.
You sure, sir?
Also, there is no law against urinating in a public convenience or coughing without due care and attention.
If you say so, sir.
Yes, I do say so, Savage. Didn't they teach you anything at training school?
Oh, sorry, sir.
Some of the... Some of these cases are just plain stupid. Looking at me in a funny way. Is this some kind of joke, Savage?
No, sir.
And we have some more here. Walking on the cracks in the pavement. Walking in a loud shirt in a built-up area during the hours of darkness. And walking around with an offensive wife. In short, Savage, in the space of 1 month, you have brought 117 ridiculous, trumped-up and ludicrous charges.
Yes, sir.
Against the same man.
Yes, sir.
A Mr. Winston Kodogo of 55 Mercer Road.
Yes, sir.
Sit down, Savage.
Yes, sir.
Savage, why do you keep arresting this man?
He's a villain, sir.
A villain?
And a jailbird, sir.
I know he's a jailbird, Savage. He's down in the cells now. We're holding him on a charge of possession of curly black hair and thick lips.
Well, there you are, sir.
You arrested him, Savage.
Thank you, sir.
Savage, would I be correct in assuming that Mr. Kodogo is a coloured gentleman?
Well, I can't say I've ever noticed, sir.
Stand up, Savage. Savage, you're a bigot. It's officers like you that give the police a bad name. The press love to jump on incidents like this, and the reputation of the force can be permanently tarnished. Your time on duty is dominated by racial hatred and petty personal vendettas. Do you get some kind of perverted gratification from going around stirring up trouble?
Yes, sir.
There's no room for men like you in my force, Savage. I'm transferring you to the SPG.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Now get out!
Sorry, sir.
Oh, and mind
Sorry, sir. It's your edge, sir.